Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Myra Ayala, and I'm the facilitator here at Sacred Hearts. Um, how's everybody doing today?
Good, thank you.
Good.
That's good to hear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start from left to right, and I want you to introduce yourselves and give a little reason as to why you're here.
Okay, well, my name is Natalie, and recently my boyfriend was in a car accident and he went deaf, and it's been very hard to deal with.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
My name is Roy. As my grandparents are getting older, one of them is losing their hearing, so it's very difficult for me to communicate with them. And so I'm here to try to gain at least some understanding of what to do, how to be. I still want to be there for them, and I'm starting to feel as if I can.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
My name is Gabby, and I have a 5-year-old nephew who is deaf, and my mother has full custody of him. So, and I'm the one that helps out at the house with him and stuff. So, I want to learn, how to be a better person for him, be there for him.
Thank you.
And my name is Sandy, and I have a 3-year-old son born with microtia, and he's 3 years old, and it's difficult because he doesn't know how to sign language, and I'm here because the stress, and I want to be able to be there for my son.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Now, everybody has a different reason as to why they're here, but it seems that everybody has some sort of, a little bit of stress, a little bit of agitation, and you're trying to understand how to be, better people for your loved ones around you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first pass out these. So these here are basically, you know what, I didn't make enough copies. Can I borrow this really quick? Thank you. Okay, so this is basically from the National Institute of Deafness and Other Communication Disorders, okay? And it's a sheet, it's a little bit of a fact sheet, so it talks a little bit about what American Sign Language is. And for those of you who have young children, you have a 3-year-old, you have a nephew, one of the biggest things that you want to start with is teaching them American Sign Language at a very young age. Because the younger the age, the easier it is for them to learn different languages. And that goes for spoken and, sign. And one thing that a lot of people do not know is that sign language is different in every country. So here in America, of course, we have American Sign Language. In Mexico, it's called something else, and the letters, the words, and everything else are different. So if you need to look up any more information, definitely can go to this website, okay? And it'll give you more info. In the back of the first sheet, it also has the ABCs, okay? And that is really good, especially for you, for your boyfriend. Since he already knows the alphabet, in the spoken word, you can teach him with the signs. And the same for your grandparents. Even though they're getting older, they'll be able to pick up those habits. It might take a little longer, but they'll be able to. So, let's go ahead and practice the ABCs. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you have your palm facing outwards, okay? And you put it close to your chest, okay? Yes, so this right here is an A, okay? And with children, when you teach them, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna have like a little picture book with them, and for the older adults, they, just so that they can kind of distinguish the both, you can just have like word books. But like for the A, this way they can visualize it. That way they learn more. So then we have B, C, D, E, F, like an okay, F. So in G, so it's like this, inwards. H, with the 2, yeah, but inwards, inwards there. H, I, J, outwards, 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 K, N. That's an M, okay, N, O. And the P is kind of like the K, except you just go down. So it's a K and you go down. Down. Yes. Q. R. S. The front. Your thumb is in the front. T.
N.
Yeah. T. U. V. W. X is like this. X. Y. And then Z. So those are your basics when it comes to the alphabet. Now I know that some of you said that you feel stressed and you feel like you're not at your full potential when it comes to your children or your family members, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else besides those basic feelings do you have?
Feel like they get frustrated too. Like if I'm not capable to be able to communicate with them or understand what they're saying, like we're both in a state of frustration together, and it leads to being angry or lashing out.
Does anybody else feel that way? You want to talk a little bit more about it?
Well, since my 3-year-old wants to, like, I try to teach him sign language, like, tell him daddy, mommy, wanna cook apple, and all that stuff, but he's a kid. He wants to be playing around. He won't stay still, and it stresses me out, and it stresses him out, and it's just total chaos at my house. Cause like I want him to communicate with me to make it more easier, but he's a 3-year-old,
Right.
so it makes it hard for him.
Okay. Anybody else?
I can relate with that. It's almost so overwhelming that you question if you're doing anything right. You know, if what you're doing is the right thing.
Okay, and that's completely understandable. Now, one of the things that I do want to make sure that you understand is that it doesn't matter how frustrated you are and how stressful you are, you have to take care of yourselves first. Because without doing that, then the way you come across to your family members, your children, your nephew, your grandparents, your boyfriend, it could come off differently than what you actually mean, okay? So one of the things that's very, very important is that you make sure that you have a support system, okay? Now I wanna pass these sheets around, and these sheets are just basic little sheets, and it's for you to learn about different social groups that you may need. For example, children, boyfriend, grandparents. So here, what you can do is you have your different type of support systems that you can look into, okay? It could be the school system, it could be a special education director, the school principal, your pediatrician. So what you wanna do is you wanna have your questions already ready for them so that when you go to them and you talk to them, you can just be direct. You can write your questions, you can write your comments, and that's a good way of finding out. There's also organizations within your community that could also help you with trying to find different types of support systems, be it your other family members or friends, okay? Because those are very, very important to you. And also another thing, like I said before, is self-care. So what I want you to do, I'm gonna pass these around, and this is what's called an instant relaxation drill. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna position yourself, and this can be done at any time during the day. I recommend that anytime you start feeling frustration, anytime you start feeling stress, you automatically just take a step back and start doing it, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're either gonna be sitting up straight, you're gonna either sit up, stand up, or lay straight, okay? So everybody go ahead, and if you wanna stand up, go ahead. If you wanna just keep sitting, I want you to sit with your back straight, okay? And then, I'm gonna borrow this again. I should've made more copies. And then, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw in a deep breath, and you're gonna hold it for 5 seconds, okay? So you're gonna breathe in, hold it for 5 seconds, and then you're gonna exhale slowly. So we're gonna do it the first time. So let's everybody start, just deep breathe in. 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Now let all your muscles relax. We're gonna go ahead and do it again. Now the second time that we do this, I want you to just start picturing something. It could either just be the ocean. Personally, I love the beach, so you know, the ocean, mountains, forest, anything like that, okay? So let's go ahead and, okay? Okay. Let's breathe deep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now this last time, I want you to do it again. I want you to picture what you're picturing, but I also want you to go into detail. So I want you to start, if you're picturing the forest, I want you to start hearing the birds. If you're picturing the ocean, I want you to start hearing the waves hit against the sand, okay? So let's try one more time. Breathe in. Picture everything you have to picture. 3, 2, 1. Let go. Okay. So when you do this, you do want to make sure, like I said, you want to keep upright, because if you're slouched over, then you're not really allowing the air to go into your diaphragm, so you're not going to be doing it properly, okay? So it's not going to de-stress you as much as it should. Now, if you need to do it more than 3 times, definitely do it more than 3 times. There's not a problem with that. But definitely use it at any point if you start feeling frustrated. If you're getting into a fight with your boyfriend, instead of storming off, just take a breather, step back, do what you have to do. Same with your grandparents, and the same with the children. Because again, they're children, older generation, they don't understand what's going on. So another thing, let's see here. For people who don't really understand about being deaf, everybody automatically assumes that they can't hear, that they don't understand, or anything like that. This is a book that I read. It's called Deaf Like Me. Okay? And especially for the ones who are experiencing it with children in the older generation. This book itself is about a father who wrote about his daughter. It's based on a true story. Okay, the mother contracted rubella, which is a German measles, back in the 20s, I believe, and that unfortunately caused her children to be deaf. During that time, being deaf was very, very different than the way it is today. Now they have hearing aids that are better, they have schools that are better. It's very important to know that being different is okay. Okay, it doesn't matter if they can't hear. They can still experience everything that any normal person will experience. So that's one of the things that you want to let them know, and this book is really, really good with that, because it explains a father's perspective and the mother's perspective. And towards the end of the book, the daughter herself finishes the book. She finishes writing the book. So it's definitely a book that you should check out. Now, before we end this discussion, is there anything else that you want to talk about besides stress?
I guess one problem that I'm having in this page that you gave us with the questions, one says special education. But there's a stigma around special education, you know, and I can relate to what it says on the last paper that you gave me with a quote that says deaf kids are just as smart as hearing kids. With sign language, deaf kids can do anything. So maybe I'm not understanding the special education in the schools, but is that something that I need to consider when, like if it runs in my family and I do have kids, and would that be something that I have to consider special education for them?
Well, when it comes to special education, unfortunately, it all depends. As much as I want to say that everything is normal for these children growing up, it is very different, because they learn at a different level than, you know, I hate saying regular children, because everybody to me is normal. But depending on the level that they're at and the type of school system in their area, it would really depend if they would be put into a special education class. There are some schools that actually do not require the student to be in the special education class just because they're deaf. they'll have teachers or a teacher aide that'll be there to be able to assist these students when they're trying to learn. So it's not necessarily that you have to worry about, you know, having your child in a special education class. It really depends on the school system in your area. You understand?
You see, I'm like this huge overthinker right now, right? Like I'm thinking about my kids and what's gonna happen to my kids. I don't have kids right now,
Right.
but I'm just so stressed with all of this. And I don't know if I should be feeling like this.
It's
You know?
completely normal to be feeling that way, especially since you're going into that, since you have grandparents, you said, correct? Grandparents that are already deaf.
I guess I felt like it was only me that was.
Does anybody else feel that way?
Yes. Since my child is 3 years old, I have been looking at schools in McAllen, and
Mhm.
I found a school in McAllen. It's called Escobar Elementary. And when my child turns 4, he's allowed to be there at a regular class with a teacher's aide that knows sign language to teach my child. And I have to go sometimes to be there with him so I can learn also, since I'm just starting as my child is. And it was really hard to find a school close to me because I'm from Mission, and I have to drive, like, to find a school there in Mission was hard. So I had to look everywhere, be prepared I thought as soon as he's 5, but they're like, you could bring him in at 3 years old, which was great for me, but like I have to wait until he's 4. It was hard for me to find a school, and when I found it, I was just relieved that there are some schools, but it also depends on your school district, so that was kind of a relief for me.
Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else have anything to say?
And it's also very comforting. I know my boyfriend, he recently, went deaf, and he's a teacher, and the school where he's working at, they're accommodating, for him to continue teaching, even though, there will be a little bit of difficulty, but they're gonna allow him someone else, an interpreter, to go. So, I mean, there's schools out there that accommodate not only for the students but also for the teachers.
That's really great information. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so since we're already towards the end, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pass out this, our evaluation form. Just simple questions. Now, unfortunately, it says that you have to put your name. You don't have to. That's completely up to you. Thank you. And yes, like I said, I would definitely look into that book. It's a really great read. I know I got emotional, but that's just me. I'm an emotional person. Okay, well, that's it. If no one has any questions, definitely, if you do have any questions, everybody has my card, so you can call me at any time. I do have information and extra information for you if you need it. But at this point, if no one has any further questions, that'll